Good morning, my darlings, and welcome to day 14 of the 31 Days of Horror. Well, today I bring you a beautiful little nugget of joy. Yes, I do. It's an unusual tale, but beautifully written, and it's Cold Fire by Dean Koontz, or Dean R Koontz as he wishes to anoint his name this time. Well, this was first published in 1991 on the 1st of January. 33 years ago, when I was 15 years old. Doesn't seem that long ago. Anyway, this copy I have here is a first edition, and it is by the Guild Publishing by arrangement with Headline Book Publishing PLC. So yes, this is the first edition. And you remember back in June when I called into that coffee shop and I saw these books and I picked a pile of them up? Well, this was one of them. And I remember reading this when I was about 16. So about the year after it came out, I knew I was finishing school. Yeah, but I read it then and I loved it, and I lost my copy. And then all these years later, 33 years later, I find me another copy. So naturally so, excited, I pick it up, I read it this summer, and it brings back nostalgia like you wouldn't believe. Honestly, absolutely beautiful. It truly, truly is. I love it. And you're going to love it too, because I'm going to tell you a little bit about Cold Fire. Yes, I am. We meet Jim Ironheart, an ordinary school teacher. Nothing unusual about our Jim, or is there? He flies to Portland, Oregon, on an impulse, a whim, unable to understand why. Very strange. There he risks his life to save a child from a drunk driver. I know, just random what you do. Then it gets really, really weird after that point. I mean, if you don't think that's weird enough, just you wait. Hold your horses. It's gonna get absolutely crazy days. It really is. A week later, Holly Thorne sees a newswire story about our Jim. And the rescue in the nick of time, 6-year-old boy in Boston. Not Portland, Oregon, but Boston this time. There's a photograph of Jim, and she recognises him from rescuing the boy in Portland because she was there. Absolutely, she saw it all. Well, she's a bit of a burnt out cynic of a journalist, and she's looking for a life beyond journalism, and her interest is piqued. Oh yes, it is, when she begins to look into Jim's background. And finds out Jim has quietly performed 6 last-minute daring-do rescues in 6 far-flung places over the past 3 months. Well, I mean, that's good going by anybody, but 6 ring-dingers, oh my goodness me, absolutely special powers. Ooh, you've not heard the first of it or the last of it, my dears. Absolutely. Holly quickly realizes she's onto the biggest story of her life. Oh my goodness me. Holly tracks Jim to California. He insists he's not a psychic. He says he doesn't get any visions, and he simply believes that God is working through him. Holly is certain his explanation is way too simple. There is no wonder in life, she argues. No great mystery. Oh, Holly, how could you be so wrong? Such a closed mind. Naughty, naughty. Holly, you have to embrace what's coming towards you like a freight train and have an open mind. That's the most important bit. You see, Jim and Holly are about to plunge headlong into a dark sea of wonder, mystery, and terror. They're going to be absolutely terrified, my darlings. I would be. Jim suddenly announces there is an enemy. Whoa! It's coming! It's relentless! He has no idea where the words are coming from or what they mean. Very strange. Told you it was a mystery. All too soon, everything becomes crystal clear. Yeah, and both he and Holly are running for their lives. From a savage and uncannily powerful adversary. Who or what is after Holly and our Jim? Oh no, will they get away? Will they survive? You'll have to read the book, my darlings, won't you? You will. Both he and Holly are in great danger, and they are inexplicably drawn first to a farm where Jim spent part of his childhood, then to the high room in the old windmill. Where as a boy, he experienced something incredibly frightening and very, very strange. In this book, we will discover clairvoyancy, multiple personalities, precognition, and premonitions, to name but a few. Jim, you see, Jim is unique. I don't think there's anybody else on the planet that's quite like our Jim. He has amazing powers. And Holly is going to help Jim understand just how powerful he truly is. Yes, this, blimey, it could have been an X-Files movie. It's that odd and strange. We're looking at the supernatural, but it's not a ghost story. And we could be looking at aliens, but it's not an alien story. But it is definitely X-File worthy. Oh, yes, it is. And there's Uncle Dean on the back, and the ISBN number, should you want to get a copy for yourself. And I think you will. I'm going to read you teeny tiny bits and pieces to whet your appetite, my darlings. Part 1. The hero, the friend. In the real world, as in dreams, nothing is quite what it seems. The Book of Counted Sorrows. Life without meaning cannot be born. We find a mission to which we're sworn, or answer the call of death's dark horn without a gleaning of purpose in life. We have no vision, we live in strife, or let blood fall on a suicide knife. The Book of Counted Sorrows. Well, that's your introduction, my darlings. This is from chapter 3. A little ways in. He was aware only of what lay directly ahead of him. From one curb to the other, the intersection appeared to be a scene revealed by spotlight on an otherwise dark night stage. Half a minute. 2 women looked up in surprise and failed to get out of his way fast enough. He tried to dodge them, but he brushed against a blonde in a summery white dress, almost knocking her down. He kept going, because he could feel death among them now, a cold presence. He reached the intersection, stepped off the curb, and stopped. 4 kids in the street. One was going to be a victim, but which of the 4? And a victim of what? 20 seconds. The crossing guard was staring at him. All but one of the kids was nearing the curb, and Jim sensed that the sidewalks were safe territory. The street would be the killing ground. He moved toward the dawdler, a little red-haired girl, who turned and blinked at him in surprise. 15 seconds. Not the girl. He looked into her jade-green eyes and knew she was safe. Just knew it somehow. All the other kids had reached the sidewalk. 14 seconds. Jim spun around and looked back towards the far curb. 4 more children had entered the street behind him. 13 seconds. The 4 new kids started to arc around him, giving him wary sidelong looks. He knew he appeared to be a little deranged, standing in the street, wide-eyed gaping at them, his face distorted by fear. 11 seconds. No cars in sight, but the brow of the hill was little more than 100 yards above the intersection, and maybe some reckless fool was rocketing up the far side with the accelerator jammed to the floorboards. As soon as that image flashed through his mind, Jim knew it was a prophetic glimpse of the instrument Death would be using. A drunk driver. 8 seconds. He wanted to shout, tell them to run, but maybe he would only panic them and cause the Mark child to bolt straight into danger rather than away from it. 7 seconds. He heard the muffled growl of an engine, which instantly changed into a loud roar. Then the piston-shattering scream. A pickup truck shot over the brow of the hill. It actually took flight. For an instant, afternoon sun flashing off its windshield and coruscating across its chromework, as if it were a flaming chariot descending from the heavens on Judgment Day. With a shrill bark of rubber against the blacktop, the front tires met the pavement again, and the rear of the truck slammed down with a jarring crash. 5 seconds. The kids in the street scattered, except for a sandy-haired boy with violet eyes the shade of faded rose petals. He just stood there, holding a lunchbox covered with brightly coloured cartoon figures, one tennis shoe untied, watching the truck bear down on him. Unable to move, as if he sensed that it wasn't just a truck rushing to him to meet, but his destiny, inescapable. He was 8 or 9, the year-old boy, with nowhere but to go but the grave. 2 seconds. Leaping directly into the path of the oncoming pickup, Jim grabbed the kid in what felt like a dream. Slow swan dive off a high cliff. He carried the boy with him to the smooth arc, to the pavement, rolling towards the leaf-littered gutter, feeling nothing from his impact with the street, his nerves so numb by terror and adrenaline that he might as well have been tumbling across a field of lush grass and soft loam. The roar of the truck was the loudest thing he had ever heard, as if it were thunder within him, and he felt something strike his left foot, hard as a hammer blow. In the same instant, a terrible wrenching force seemed to wring his ankle as if it were a rag. A white hot current of pain crackled up his leg, sizzling into his hip, exploding in the socket like a bone, like the 4th of July bottle rocket bursting into the night sky. Holly stared after the man who had collided with her, angry and intending to tell him off. But before she reached the intersection, a grey and red pickup erupted over the brow of a hill as if fired out of a giant slingshot. She halted at the curb. The scream of the truck engine was a magic incantation that slowed the flow of time, stretching each second into what seemed to be a minute. From the curb she saw the stranger sweep the boy out of the path of the pickup, executing the rescue with such singular agility and grace that he almost appeared to be performing mad slow-motion ballet in the street. She saw the bumper of the truck strike his left foot and watched in horror as his shoe was torn off and tossed high into the air, tumbling end over end. Peripherally, she was aware of the man and the boy rolling towards the gutter, the truck swerving sharply to the right, the startled crossing guard dropping the paddle like stop sign, and truck ricocheting off a parked car across the street. The man and boy coming to rest against the curb, the truck tipping on its side and sliding downhill in cascades of yellow and blue sparks. All the while her attention was focused primarily on the shoe tumbling up into the air, silhouetted against the blue sky, hanging at the apex of its flight for what seemed like an hour, then tumbling slowly down again. She couldn't look away from it, was mesmerized by it, because she had the macabre feeling that the foot was still in the shoe, torn off at the ankle, bristling with splinters of bone, trailing shorn ribbons of arteries and veins. Down it came, down, straight towards her, and she felt a scream swelling in the back of her throat. Down, the battered shoe, a Reebok, plopped into the gutter in front of her, and she lowered her eyes to it. In a way, she always looked into the face of a monster in a nightmare, not wanting to see, but unable to turn away, equally repelled by and attracted to the unthinkable. The shoe was empty. No severed foot. Not even any blood? She sounds almost disappointed. She swallowed her unreleased scream. She tasted vomit in the back of her throat, and she swallowed that too. As the pickup came to rest on its side more than half a block down, Holly turned the other way and ran to the man and boy. She was the first to reach them as they started to sit up on the blacktop. Except for a scraped palm and a small abrasion on his chin, the child appeared to be unhurt. He was not even crying. She dropped to her knees in front of him. "Are you okay, honey?" Through kind of dazed, the boy understood and nodded. "Yeah, my hand hurts a little, that's all." The man in the white slacks and blue t-shirt was sitting up. He had rolled his sock halfway off his foot and was gingerly kneading his left ankle. Though the ankle was swollen, why wouldn't it be, and already inflamed, Holly was still surprised by the absence of blood. The crossing guard, A couple of teachers and other kids gathered around, and the babble of excited voices rose on all sides. The boy was helped up and drawn into the teacher's arms, wincing in pain as he continued to massage his ankle. The injured man raised his head and met Holly's gaze. His eyes were searingly blue, and for an instant appeared as cold as if they were not human. He smiled. Hello, Holly. In the blink, the initial impression of coldness was replaced by one of warmth. In fact, Holly was overwhelmed by the clarity. Morning sky colour. Oh, the girl's got it bad. The beauty of his eyes. She felt as if she were peering through them into a gentle soul. She was a cynic who would equally distrust a nun and mafia boss on the first encounter. So her instant attraction to this man was jolting. Though her words were her first love and her trade, she was at a loss for them. Close call, he said, and his smile elicited one from her. Ooh, that's Holly and Jim's first actual encounter. Although they don't know it, these two are going to go on quite the adventure. Oh, they surely are. You see, Jim's powers. Well, wait till I tell you how many people he's saved. The 15th of May, Sam, 25, and Emily, 5, Newsam, Atlanta, Georgia, murder. He saves them from murder. 7th of June, Louis Andretti, 28, Corona, California, saves him from a snake bite. 21st of June, Thaddeus Johnson, 12, New York, murder, saves him from murder. 30th of June, Rachel Steinberg, 23, San Francisco, California, murder again. 5th of July, Carmen Diaz, 30, Miami, Florida, fire. 14th of July, Amanda Cutter, 30 years old, Miami, Florida, fire. 20th of July, Stephen Ames, 57, Birmingham, Alabama, murder. 1st of August, Laura Lensanke, 28, Seattle, Washington, drowning. 8th of August, Doogie Burkett, 11, Peoria, Illinois, drowning. 12th of August, Billy Jenkins, 8 years old, Portland, Oregon, traffic fatality. That's the one I've just read you. 20th of August, Lisa, 30, and Susan, 10, Jawolski, Mojave Desert, murder. 23rd of August, Nicholas O'Connor, 6, Boston, Massachusetts, accident. Wow. So he saved all those people. And that is how we know he has precognition, premonition, the second sight, the third eye, clairvoyancy, call it what you will. Our Jim seems to have it in bucket loads. But who, what, and how did he get the gift? And how will Holly help him? Well, my darlings, you'll just have to read this lovely, darling book. Yes. And there are 374 pages, my lovelies, for you to enjoy. And at least we'll tell you how many chapters there are. Anyway, my darlings, if you like what I've done, and it has at least 50 chapters, And if you like what I've done, my darlings, and you've enjoyed today's little presentation, you can always give me a thumbs up. And if you really like what I do, you can always give me a follow. And stay with me for more and more little adventures or great adventures. Wherever we end up, my lovelies. Horror, mystery, murder, suspense, aliens, end of the world, pandemics, killer rats, killer cats. I do them all. I hope you enjoy coming along on these little adventures of ours. I quite enjoy bringing them to you. So I'll say what I always do, my darlings. Happy readings and enjoy. And let me know what good books you're enjoying over Halloween, because Halloween is almost upon us. We're nearly at the halfway point, are we not? After all, it is day 14 today. Halloween will soon be here. Oh, yes, it will. Anyway, my darlings, I'll let you go. And thank you so much for joining me on today's adventure. And I will see you tomorrow with another grisly, ghoulish, gorgeous tale. Take care, my darlings. Bye-bye.